Okay, hi everybody. We're going to go ahead and do a quick tutorial on some of the steel components, the steel parts, and hopefully we could dispel some myth. You notice if I bring it real close, you've got this guy that's seized up, then you've got one that is clean. But I'm going to show you something right now. I'm going to show you the other side of that piston. Well, hey, there's no scoring. It's nice and clean. Well, what happened? Well, a 360 scoring every single time without exception on a two-cycle engine. If they ran it with raw fuel, no mix, you're going to get scoring on all sides. Well, then what happened here? Well, more than likely, there was a bad seal, probably a bad seal that was leaking. These are your seals. And you can have a seal on either side of the crankcase. You have one on the flywheel side, and you had one on the PTO side. They could leak, and they actually do. You have more air than fuel, to make a long story short. So that could cause a lean condition. What other symptoms, Pete? Well, you could have a pinhole in your fuel pickup line. That'll also cause a lean condition. Or there's a base gasket at the bottom of a cylinder that it's leaking. If it's cracked and it's leaking, that could also start. Well, how do we check that? With a pressure vacuum gauge. What you do, you set up this gauge where the carburetor is. You cap off the exhaust side. You cap off the spark plug hole, and you pump it. This does both positive pressure and negative pressure. You have to check them both because you could have a leak on the negative and not on the positive, and vice versa. What happens is scoring. They say it froze the engine. And you get metal transfer from your cylinder onto the piston. The cylinder is always going to be a little bit more resistant to heat than your piston skirt, because they lace it with NicoSeal and other metal components to resist heat. But nonetheless, they transfer one heat or metal from one to the other. That's an internal damage. Another thing that I want to cover here is this: you have a full-size crank. All your steel products have a PTO side and a flywheel side of a crank. This is your weed eater crankshaft. It's a half crank. Okay, so when you buy a weed eater, or say a Ryobi, or some of your Troy Bills that they sell at Lowe's or Home Depot, you're getting a half crank versus a full crank. Oh, what's the difference? Heavy vibration, less durability. This has a longer life. You're going to have more torque, more power. The big factor is going to be the durability factor and the vibration factor. Always use a good two-cycle oil. Still has the HP Ultra fully synthetic oil. And what your lesser brands have as well is that they have these kind of connecting rod. These could take up to 32 needle bearings, no option. You can't replace it. You have to replace the entire crank. It's a one piece basically, and the durability, the strength, the longevity of this is night and day comparing this guy. Again, these are your lesser brands, your weed eaters, the green one, and steel product right here. More internal damage. Notice that breakage, internal breakage. What causes that on a two-cycle? Normally, a screw, a bolt, something broke off in the carburetor and went inside the engine and just jammed it in place. Here's another little guy with needle bearings, and I don't think you'll be able to see them, but trust me, they got little needle bearings in there that could cause scoring or your carburetors. Back in the day, we could adjust them as lean as we wanted to or as rich as we wanted to. This is yesterday's technology right here. This is today's technology. This is a steel chainsaw carburetor. It's got the hood. It vents out into the air filter. This vents out into the atmosphere. And you notice that there's a little tiny hole right there. That's your atmosphere hole that makes your diaphragm pulsate. Well, this one still has to pulsate, but we're connected into the actual air filter. It's called the IntelliCarb, the intelligent carburetor, where my filter can be up to 90% plugged up, filled with sawdust, debris, what have you, and you won't lose any RPMs. Where this guy, you put a piece of debris or a leaf or whatever gets in that hole, no more atmospheric pressure, and you're going to get that boo, 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 that bog down sound. Nonetheless, I thought I'd cover that with you. And any questions, go ahead, leave them in the comments section. If you find this important and educational, give me a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Again, this is Pete, the guy that's going to bring you information regarding true information, by the way. This is all factual. That professional technician, when somebody comes and talks to you regarding the failure of their equipment, you'll be able to discuss in detail and in a professional manner the failure of equipment. Thank you.